Everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today's video is going to be the update that I promised you all that I would do on the Hacienda healthcare facility. But before we get into the article, if you enjoy the videos on this channel, because I do enjoy making them, and if you enjoy the commentary, because I do enjoy giving my opinion, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can grow this channel. All right, let's get into the article. Hacienda Healthcare will stay open after state steps in. All right, so let me just give you a little background. I wanted to do a video on this last week, but I didn't have an opportunity to. After, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, Hacienda Healthcare had decided that they were going to actually close down the unit that housed those patients where the young lady was raped. So it's like a special unit. I think it was called ICF or something like that. They decided to close it down. Well, when they decided to close it down, the state was not happy about that at all. They were in violation of something, and it didn't look out for the patients because there were at least 36, some articles say 37 patients that would have had to been relocated. So I guess the state wanted to come in and help the facility. They did not want to go through the process of closing a facility down and then moving the patients. So they were not happy at all with the decision to close. So now Hacienda Healthcare is, I guess they're going to be working with the state. So that's just a little background on how this article happened. One day after Hacienda Healthcare announced it would close its intermediate facility where a patient was raped, the state has stepped in to keep it open. Given the high medical risk associated with transferring these patients, moving this medically fragile community is the option of last resort and not the state's goal, says a joint statement from the Arizona Department of Economic Security and the state's Medicaid program. Officials with those two state agencies on Friday pushed back on Hacienda's announcement that it would close the 60-bed facility at 1402 East South Mountain Avenue and instead gave the nonprofit entity an ultimatum: bring in a third-party manager or allow the state health department to assume licensing authority. Hacienda had until 4 p.m. to respond. So they gave them two choices. Either you bring somebody else in to run this facility, or you let the state take it over. All right? That was the two options that they gave them. But closing was not on the list of things that they thought would be good to do. Hacienda Healthcare chose the latter, so they chose for the state to come in and take over. I don't even know how I feel about that because I know that some state-run facilities are not the best. They don't give the best care, but hopefully because of what has happened in this situation, the state of Arizona will run a top-notch facility for its patients. Healthcare, let me read it again. Hacienda Healthcare chose the latter, allowing the Arizona Department of Health Services to assume licensing authority over Hacienda's intermediate care facility for people with intellectual disabilities, though state officials stress that an agreement between the two entities still need to be reached. Okay, so they threw it out there. It appears that Hacienda is going to accept, but I guess the agreement is not formal yet. Allowing the state to have that authority gives it more oversight over the operation, and Heidi Capriati, a spokeswoman for the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, which is the state's Medicaid program. The facility is not currently licensed by the state, due to a 1997 Arizona law that exempts intermediate care facilities from state licensing. So you mean to tell me the people that have some of the most critical issues are placed in facilities that are not required to be licensed? These people require a high level of care. And if I had a loved one like that, I would assume that where they're going is licensed. You know, would you put your loved one in this type of a condition in an unlicensed place knowingly? I wonder if people knew that they weren't even licensed. And I wonder, how did this law even come about? You know, of all, this is, to me, this is like hospital care that you're giving these patients. Why aren't they required to be licensed? Sounds crazy to me. Two Arizona senators introduced a bill this session to remove that exemption. Thank God. After the news about Hacienda came to light. I am so happy about that because I think it's totally ridiculous that you run a care facility for people who cannot move, can't speak, incapacitated, whatever, and they're not required to be licensed. I wonder if that's going on all over the country. At last count, the facility had 37 patients. In its most recent federal survey, facility officials listed the patients as ranging in age from 16 to 18, and most were listed as non-ambulatory. And remember, the young lady who got raped, she'd been there since she was 3 years old. So these people are, living their lives in this unit. The patient who was raped is a 29-year-old member of the San Carlos Apache tribe who has a seizure disorder and is described in court documents as being nonverbal, incapacitated, and needing a maximum level of care. Okay, maximum level of care in an unlicensed facility? Wow, this is just crazy. And she has this condition because she almost drowned when she was 3. On December 29th, the patient gave birth to a boy. As staff from the facility called 911, and I do have a video of that entire 911 tape on my channel, and indicated they had not known she was pregnant. I'm not going to go on a rant about that, but I still find that hard to believe that nobody knew she was pregnant. On January 23rd, one of her caregivers at Hacienda was arrested. Licensed practical nurse, or LPN, Nathan Sutherland, 36, has been charged with 1 count of sexual assault and 1 count of vulnerable adult abuse. So Nathan Sutherland, aka Christian rapper, I also done videos about him. I have all these videos in the playlist. The state's numerous directives to Hacienda over the last month have been often rushed and onerous. Hacienda Board President Thomas R. Pomeroy wrote to AHCCCS and DES in a letter dated Friday. Of course, you're dealing with the government. Can't get around that. That's just the government. In light of the state's demands on Hacienda, we appreciate you telling us that the state did not intend to close down the intermediate care facility, Pomeroy wrote. Well, if they're not licensed, did the state even have the authority to do that? Maybe, I guess they could if, was crimes committed. I don't know. I'm not, like I say in all my videos, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. We could not agree more that the safety and well-being of our residents are of paramount priority and that we should collectively work together to ensure that our residents and their families have maximum flexibility in choosing where they reside. And to be honest, I do agree that they should not close, okay? I do agree. I agree. I think that if the state comes in, they probably need to just change everything from top to bottom. If that means getting rid of people, get rid of people. They need to go over their policies and procedures and update those. They need to just do a whole, I can't think of the word, but they just need to do some big changes at the facility. And I think that if they are successful in that, Hacienda can possibly restore its reputation. Now, on the flip side of that, if I had a family member there and I knew that someone had been raped and they're in that same, they're in that same facility as my loved one, to be honest, I probably would move them. And if I couldn't move them because of financial reasons or whatever reasons, I would be up there every day demanding that I get to basically live in the room with them because I wouldn't trust it. You know what I mean? Especially at night. I would want to be there. But sometimes I could be overly protective like that. That's just my personality. But I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that my loved one was in that facility. So hopefully they can get this together and do better. Among improvements made at the facility, Pomeroy wrote that Hacienda had retained 3 armed off-duty police officers 24 hours a day. Excuse me, everybody, I'm sorry. 7 days per week, and has installed 30 internal cameras to capture all common areas and entrances and exits from the building. Okay, I'm not knocking this, okay, but what I have to say is, who's protecting the patients while they're in the room? When that woman was raped, trust me, she was not in the common area. She was in her room. So no, I'm not advocating cameras in rooms. But what are they doing to protect the patients while they're in the rooms? You know, they're looking out for the common area, but this man didn't rape her in the common area. He worked there. So he could have came through the door, through the entrance, sat in the common area. They didn't know he just finished raping somebody. He was in her room. So what are they doing to protect the patients while they're in the room? That's what I want to know. In addition, Hacienda is continuing with 15-minute checks on all patient rooms. So that was something they were doing before, you know. So that's not changing. What's going to change with these 15-minute checks? And is in the process of retaining a director of security. All right. Pomeroy wrote. So here is the letter he wrote. It's 3 pages long. Well, two pages, a little over 2 pages long, I'll say. If you would like me to do a video reading that letter, let me know, and I will definitely do that. Just leave a comment in the description, or thumbs up the video, and I'll do a video reading the letter. This is good news and the best intermediate outcome, as it means Hacienda patients and families would be allowed to, I think that's supposed to be stay, would be allowed to stay in the home they've known for years while ensuring new and enhanced protections and oversights are put in place, says Patrick Patak, I know I'm butchering these names, a spokesman for Governor Doug Dacey, said in a release statement. Okay, so the state is glad that Hacienda is going to be allowing the state to take over. Now remember, the young lady, she's been in this facility since she was 3 and she's 29. So I guess for these patients, they live there. They're going to live, and they're going to and die there, possibly, if they don't get any better. So this is their home. Due to the medically fragile condition of the community, keeping patients where they reside was always our preferred choice and the safest option for our patients. Our agency will continue to work with Hacienda to implement a voluntary regulatory agreement with strong oversight and accountability measures that ensure safety and quality care going forward for patients. Okay, so why is this voluntary? I mean, at this point, voluntary shouldn't even be a word used in connection with Hacienda. But I guess since they are not licensed, it would be voluntary. Ducey on Tuesday called an Arizona Attorney General, Mark Brnovich, to investigate patient care, financial fraud, and sexual harassment claims at Hacienda Healthcare. Okay, so this Hacienda Healthcare has a whole host of problems, it seems like. So I guess during their investigation, they done uncovered a whole lot of stuff going on with Hacienda Healthcare. So they got a whole lot of cleaning up to do there. In this letter, Ducey wrote that Hacienda Healthcare's lack of cooperation with the state to assure the care of this vulnerable population is concerning and must be addressed. Of course, these people were unlicensed. They're used to doing things how they want to do it. Now you're coming in trying to tell them what to do. They're not concerned about, the care of the patients. What they're concerned about is they're concerned about you coming in and changing their whole operation. So they need to get over it. Hacienda has been ordered to install a third-party manager, and for a few days, Benchmark Human Services of Indiana was on site and assumed operating authority. But Benchmark and Hacienda did not reach an agreement, and by the end of the week, the Indiana company left Hacienda. Okay, so they tried to get a third party in there. That third party probably came in there and was like, look, y'all need to change this, that, and that. We're going to do this. We're not going to do that anymore. And Hacienda had their feelings hurt. They was butt hurt. So they living on the boat of pride. They couldn't even work with a third party, and that's why they're uncooperative. Benchmark confirmed with the Arizona Republic on Wednesday that it would not be returning to Hacienda. That's a daggone shame. A statement from the Arizona Department of Health Services said an agreement between Hacienda and the state health department will ensure the ongoing safety of the residents at Hacienda. Health officials said they will immediately begin working with Hacienda to implement, here we go, a voluntary regulatory agreement that will provide increased oversight and accountability not only for residents of its intermediate care facility, but also for those residing in its 74-bed skilled nursing facility on the same campus. So they couldn't even work with the third party they had. Let's see how this goes with the state. Hacienda needs to get over itself. Your facility has had issues, and now this is the consequences. Man up and do the right thing and get the facility in good standing, and do the right thing for your clients. You too worried about people taking control. At this point, someone needs to take control, because a woman who could not communicate had a baby there. Okay? Get over it. I'm glad that they're just not thinking about that unit, though, and they're thinking about the other the other facilities, too. But this is just, I just hope that everything works out and that they don't mess this up because of pride. The state health department says it's asking Hacienda to contract with a third-party healthcare consultant to evaluate operational practices and oversee the operations of the facilities until state health officials determine the facility is in compliance. Okay, they just tried that with that other group. It didn't work. So give them another chance. Hopefully they'll, get on the bandwagon and do the right thing. As you see, they're going to have to give up power. They need to accept that, okay? They need to get that facility where it needs to be, and if that means you need to give up your power for a little while, give it up, get everything running like a smooth sailing ship, make sure your patients and your clients and their loved ones are all protected, and then maybe you can get your control back. Employ an on-site evaluator for intermediate care and skilled nursing facilities to ensure necessary changes are implemented and to monitor accountability to ensure health and safety. Identify an independent review team to assess the level of acuity and care required for the residents. Within 90 days, develop a long-term plan and timeline for the facility and its operations that prioritize health and safety. And that's the end of the article. So they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of review, and a lot of changes, and they need to accept it. Every organization, there's no perfect organization, there's no perfect business, okay? Sometimes things happen, but there are consequences to actions, and you have to be mature enough and care about your clients' well-being to endure what you have to do, to get things right. This is just a consequence. Accept the consequence and move on. And I'm so sorry for the interruptions. I thought when you hit Do Not Disturb, it just closes everything out, but I guess not. I guess I have to stop syncing my phone when I do these videos. But yeah, sorry about that. But it is, Hacienda Healthcare needs to get it together. They need to work with these agencies. The state of Arizona needs to pass that bill that requires facilities like them, any healthcare facility, nursing care facility, healthcare facility, anything that's dealing with people's health, I believe should be licensed. They need some oversight. There needs to be some accountability to somebody, not just the board. Okay? So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed the commentary, please like, share, and subscribe. And I really do enjoy these videos. I really do want to grow this channel. I thank everyone who's viewing, and I don't have that many viewers right now, but hopefully in the future that will change. I'm still going to do these videos because I really enjoy doing them. So if you know someone that would enjoy the video, please share. Let's communicate in the comments section. And if you want me to do that 3-page letter, I will be glad to do it so that we can see what that letter from Hacienda was about. So anyway, I will see you in the next video. Bye.